in an effort to put her thumb down further on the people of Michigan and to put the boot of the government on Michiganders' life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the Michigan governor may have actually just helped Trump secure victory in Michigan. Wait a minute. She's good friends with Joe Biden and has basically said she hates President Trump. She even put a sign up suggesting that she wants to 86 him in one of her videos. So how could she be possibly helping Trump win Michigan? Well, let me explain. And I'm going to go through this article written by Jordan Davidson of The Federalist that was just published on November 1st. And as you guys know, the Michigan governor, she's literally nuts, in my opinion, and many other people's. And she's put forth some of the most draconian, tyrannical lockdowns, picking winners and losers in business, and just literally run completely amok of the God-given rights and liberties of the people of Michigan. So much that the Michigan Supreme Court struck down her executive actions and said, no, these are unconstitutional. They were illegal, and the law that you were using was unconstitutional, but that hasn't stopped her. She's still going further. And this past Friday, she went further yet again. And the title of this article says, Michigan governor, up to 6 months in prison if businesses don't surveil customers for contact tracing. The article continues, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services is requiring restaurants, barber shops, tattoo parlors, recreational facilities, and entertainment establishments to record the names, contact information, and visit times of all customers to, quote, aid with contact tracing. Any establishment that does not comply is threatened with a maximum $200 fine and a misdemeanor charge punishable with up to 6 months in prison. This is show me your papers. Show me, halt, who goes there? You cannot continue until you show your papers and show who you are, where you're going, what are you doing. And just simply saying, I'm an American, I'm a Michigander, and I'm just freely moving about the country is no longer good anymore. Apparently, the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution, which is very specific, and it states the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. But apparently that's not good enough for the governor of Michigan. They call her many things. They're up to about 30 different things they call her. This is a family-friendly show, so I'm just going to call her Governor Witless and just be nice and call her that for now. The Fourth Amendment isn't enough for her anymore. Getting struck down by the Michigan Supreme Court isn't enough for her anymore. And I think there's probably a lot of people who may still consider themselves Democrat or were Democrats in the past that basically, to paraphrase Ronald Reagan, said, I didn't leave the Democrat Party, but the Democrat Party left me. And there has to be a lot of common sense Michiganders that say, I can't vote for this woman. Now, she's not up for election, but her friend Joe Biden is, and she has called him her friend, and he's called her his friend and said what a great governor she is. These people have clearly endorsed each other and campaigned for each other. The article continues. The order, announced Friday, comes as Michigan's Democratic governor, Gretchen Whitmer. They call her a beauty. They call her, again, many things. The governor and her administration began backtracking on the state's latest reopening plan and tightening, again, they call it many things. We'll call it the Kung Flu restrictions. This is from China virus, Wuhan virus, citing rising hospitalizations and deaths. Other states, including New York, have implemented similar contact tracing rules, requiring restaurants to record diners' information in the case of an outbreak. And you know what? I know a lot of common sense, hardworking people in Michigan. We don't want to be New York. Nothing against New Yorkers, because a lot of you don't want your governor and don't want to live under the tyranny that the big cities are imposing on the rest of New York. So no offense to you guys, but let me tell you what. We don't want Governor Cuomo or his little acolyte. Big Gretch, they call her. We don't want her in Michigan And we certainly don't want the New York style of trampling on people's Fourth Amendment and God-given rights and liberty. The article continues, in addition to scaling back the number of people at gatherings at indoor venues from 500 to 50, the order also advised against shouting and screaming at events. Now the governor is controlling the volume of your speech. The order also advised against shouting and screaming at events. I'm going to say that one more time. She not only wants you to show your papers and let the government and her track your whereabouts, but she's now controlling the volume of your speech, claiming that cheering can spread the virus in the air 30 times more than speaking. I'd like to see the studies on that. The newly announced restrictions also emphasized and extended the use of face masks, including on children as young as 2 years old. Look, these are babies. 2 years old, that's a baby, a toddler. At daycare, school, or similar indoor settings. Like the president said, and so many people have said, we cannot let the cure be worse than the disease. Suffocating our children? She's doubling back down on that again. Young, developing bodies. 2 years old. I've been watching a lot of the president's rallies lately. He caught the Wuhan virus, the Kung flu. Was out of the hospital in a couple days. Wasn't contagious after a week. Has been doing 4 and even now 5 rallies a day, and he's 74 years old. He beat it. So did his lovely wife, our First Lady, Mrs. Melania Trump. Now, they said Barron caught it, and the president was like, caught what? What did he catch? And they said, he's caught the whatever, the Wuhan virus, sir. And he said, well, what do you mean he caught it? How's he doing? 12 minutes later, they said, no, it's gone. He's fine. He's over it now. And that's a 14-year-old. Look, these kids are getting over it very quickly. Now the governor of Michigan's going all the way down to 2-year-olds. That they'll wear masks, and that's whether the parents wish them or not, because here's the next part of it. I'm going to continue on. Earlier in the year, Whitmer signed an executive order threatening a misdemeanor charge and a $500 fine for anyone who wouldn't wear a face mask in public indoor and crowded outdoor spaces. So this is even outdoors. So if you as a parent know that it's not in the best health and your doctor have decided that your 2-year-old, they're going to be fine if they catch it. 99.999. There's so many nines at the end I can't count, but let's just say they're probably almost always going to be okay. That doesn't matter. $500 fine. I guess not as bad as if you own a restaurant and you don't want to make your customers show your papers and contact tracing and put down all their intimate, personal, private details. Again, they're papers that we're supposed to be secure. Our effects and papers, because they'll get 6 months in prison. Imagine that. Darling, let's go to the restaurant tonight. So you go, and they're like, show me your papers. Halt, who goes there? And you say, well, no thanks, I'm not going to show my papers. All right. And you sit down and you walk in without a mask. Now all of a sudden, you and your wife could each get $500 fines, misdemeanors with jail time, and the restaurant owner could go to jail for 6 months, all because they weren't willing to violate the Fourth Amendment and many other amendments and our Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Just imagine this. I don't think a lot of people in Michigan are going to go for this. I think she just helped Trump a lot. Thank you, Governor. You're becoming one of Trump's biggest campaigners and probably getting him a lot of votes, whether you know it or not. Now, I probably shouldn't tell her this because she's not that smart. She won't listen to me anyways, guys, so don't worry about it. But she is probably helping Trump win Michigan, and I think he's going to. Whitmer and her administration have received criticism for handling of the Kung flu after she signed an executive order similar. Oh, back to New York again. What a beauty. Similar to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's ordering nursing homes and assisted living centers to readmit infected patients into facilities filled with vulnerable people. And she did. And many people died. How many died, I don't know, because I went to the rally that Steven Crowder put on in Lansing. And I got this sign from there. And here's the question. How many seniors? Hashtag Whitmer death toll. How many seniors? Because they're categorizing these seniors, these vulnerable people. And that's her right there. When I say real beauty, this is a tyrant. This is what tyranny looks like in the year 2020. We don't know how many because she's reporting deaths in a very shady way, and she's classifying what's a nursing home and what's not on paper in such a weird way that it's hard, even with Freedom of Information Act requests, to find this out. And it says, in quotes, a long-term care facility must not prohibit admission or readmission of a resident based on Kung Flu, and that's my words there, testing requirements, or results in a manner that is inconsistent with this order, end quote. Whitmer's May executive order reads. Although I would note that was shot down by the Supreme Court. And then the article ends and says the elderly are by far the majority of those who have died with the virus present in their bodies. So let me get this straight. The people that are the most vulnerable, now even they have a great chance of survival, which is awesome. Look, it doesn't matter how old they are. Everybody, every day is a gift from God. Every breath we breathe is a gift from God. So we don't want anybody to leave this earth, even one day too soon. But the most vulnerable people that had the highest chances of death, and an untold number that we're still trying to get the number on, did die from her executive order, forcing the most vulnerable to have coronavirus patients and with facilities where they didn't have the means to do it. And they told her they didn't. And she said, you have to. It's the orders. So she's fine with putting these people that have the Wuhan virus, the Kung Flu, call it what you want, in with our most vulnerable. But 2-year-olds, she's re-upping that now as young as 2 years old are required to wear a mask. If not, $500 fine with jail time. And that if you don't show your papers and put down your personal effects, your papers to your local restaurateur, your tattoo artist, your barber, recreational facilities, if you want to go lift weights or go swimming. Let's go see a movie, darling. Nope, there's no more Fourth Amendment if we go see a movie. You're not secure. Show me your papers. I don't know how any reasonable person, no matter if they were brought up Democrat, Republican, if they were just brought up being an American, how they could go for that and how they could vote for her friend, Joe Biden. Now, sometimes he says he's running for the Senate recently. Sometimes he says he's running for all kinds of different things. He doesn't like to leave his basement, but I'll tell you this. He's been pretty clear on one thing. He says, my friend, the governor of Michigan, and she has reciprocated back that he is indeed her friend. So if you want a lot more of this will be coming with the governor being emboldened when her friend, if the dreaded day were to occur that he were to get elected. Trump's been out on the campaign trail speaking against this governor. Say, open it up. You've got the state locked down. You couldn't cut your grass, guys. I know this. I own a lawn service. It was really tough. Worst year I've ever had because of her. Couldn't cut grass by myself in the middle of 50 acres in the middle of the woods. Couldn't buy seeds to plant your garden, and the paint was roped off. Couldn't go out on a boat if it had a motor. Meanwhile, her husband's out there. He was the only one that could do anything in Michigan. He was out there sailing and yachting and going up north in one of their several homes. So, if you want the state of Michigan completely locked down forever, and if you want it to be a dark winter, as candidate Biden promised, he said it will be a dark winter. And if you guys are bored and want to do more details, look up some more research. Look up the Dark Winter exercise that was put on by the federal government in Johns Hopkins University. When he said dark winter, I'll let you guys decide what that means, because a lot of you probably don't even know that. Look up the Dark Winter exercise that happened in 2001, and you may get a little more information on what he could have possibly meant when he told us we're going to have a dark winter. And I believe the winter will continue to be very dark in Michigan, and I think a lot of Michiganders are noticing this very quickly. 6 months in prison if businesses don't surveil customers for contact tracing. Look, the choice is getting pretty clear. Do you want tyranny? Do you want to live under a show me your papers type of society? Or do you want to move on and let this China virus, this Kung Flu, work itself out as viruses tend to do, and get on with our lives? Because the economy just went up 31.5 points with the recent economic numbers that were just released, despite all of these governors in Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and many others. A lot of you guys are going through the same thing. I don't know if they've been quite as bad as the Michigan governor, but a lot of you have been. What do you guys want? Do you want to stay locked down in the basement forever? Suffocating your 2-year-old? While the seniors are being forced in, the most vulnerable, being forced with these Kung Flu patients that they weren't ready to treat. And the hospitals weren't even full, but she forced them in there. Anyways, and she's trying to lock down the state again, and I think in doing that, she just secured a victory. Trump 2020 Michigan. Alright, thanks for watching, and have a good one.